Are you deaf? No, but I can speak some ASL. Don't miss out on the fun. Hit subscribe button and join our community for more entitled parent stories. Bit of background, I'm a fairly young teen. I'm in a very homophobic Christian community. There's nothing wrong with being Christian, I myself am. But it's another thing to use your religion to be over someone. I'm for the LGBTQ community, again I myself technically am. And where I live just put in a don't say gay bill / but let's begin. I was in the shop, looking at some arrows pride flags, as this was the only shop that sold stuff like this. When I hear the classic asterisk and excuse me, of a Karen, then it gets louder excuse me. I think whoever this is couldn't be possibly talking to me. I then feel a very heavy hand on my shoulder, with somehow even louder excuse me. I am talking to you. This lady had the typical Karen appearance. She white, Karen haircut, and a face that says let me speak to your manager. Are you deaf? She screams in my face. Allah. Now I'm learning asshole. I don't know enough to keep up a simple convo, but I know some. And with asshole, the translation is a lot simpler than English. For example, instead of hey, could you hand me that drink? You'd sign something like you drink me now, don't quote me as I'm still learning. So I sign. Sorry, I'm hearing, not deaf. I speak ASL. Our Karen then begins to turn bright red and walks away. And I go back to looking at the pins. If you think our story is over, then you're sadly incorrect. After I've got my pins, I'm just browsing. An employee waves for me to follow them. So I do. They lead me to a table where an employee, Karen, and her child are sitting. A notepad and pen are on it. After taking my seat, I read it. Karen's child is practically jumping up and down with boredom and is complaining that they are bored. Since we have nobody on staff who can speak asshole, we have to go through this. Alright, so why am I here? MS. Karen says you have assaulted her religion, called her and her child names, along with many other things. Pardon? Since when did I sign or say any of that? Karen is getting madder by the second. She gets the paper and writes, I demand you not only apologize and take all your items back, as they will lead my child away from God. Ma'am, what are you talking about? That censored pin. Teens today are so disrespectful. Ma'am, there's nothing wrong with pin. I'm proud of my sexuality. I'm Christian myself. I also place my cross down on the table. As I have a tiny metal cross I carry on my person at all times. Once Karen reads this, she stands up and yells, censored you. You are no Christian. Censored us like you are ruining this country. You poisoning my son, you devil worshipper. Go. Rot. In. Hell. This new gay bill should put you right in your place. At this point I've had enough. I slam my hands down and say, for a Christian you surely don't act like it. As was it not Christ's teachings about love and forgiveness? And what about loving thy enemy? I give upon you a new command, love thy enemy as you love thyself. And did it not say, do not judge others, as you yourself will be judged? And no, I am not deaf. What I signed earlier said as much. When you yelled in my face, the employee asked her if it's true. No. He's lying, go check the cams. Then Karen the sputters. Her kid bursts out into laughter. Ma'am, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. Karen snatched my arrows pins so I set a gay pride pin onto the table for the kid. I told them, hey, don't turn into a bigot. Okay? Thank you. And I won't. The kid clipped it to his shirt. Sure, the mum is gonna take it, but this may give the kid some thoughts about his mum. And yes, the kid is above the age of the don't say gay law, where I can't talk anything gender identity or sexuality to elementary kids. The kid looked above elementary age. And well, that's my fun tale. Have a good one. Comments. I think my favorite part is that the Karen brought her child into the shop, thus exposing them even further. Thankfully, by the sounds of it, her kid doesn't plan to follow in her footsteps, and you certainly played a very positive role in that. Good on you. As a side note, thank you for reminding me that I need some new ace pins. That child is pretty cool, NGL. As someone who will be moving to your state this weekend and is very unhappy with the current waves hands at everything situation, so not a strong enough word for that. This gives me hope that more residents of the state will continue to fight back against the bigotry and hatred currently being spewed. Lol, we aren't all that bad, and our state does have some good hiking spots. I do hope you enjoy your time with us. As soon as I get used to the heat again. I grew up in GA, but I've been living in WV for 20 years, and the idea of temps in the upper 80 seconds and 90 seconds has me a little worried. Though I'm kind of looking forward to the very cold 40-50 degree winters. Subscribe and hit the bell button for the best Reddit stories available.